Hello there, everyone, and welcome to Radiant Moon Tarot. My name is Victoria, and we've got your daily reading here for Friday, May the 29th. And as we head into the weekend, we are very much starting to feel the full moon in Sagittarius that we've got coming in. This is occurring on Sunday, the 31st. But of course, we always feel full moon energy a few days before it starts. And this full moon, it is the second one in the month of May, therefore it is a blue moon. Always something a little special and a little bit magical and maybe sometimes surprising about a blue moon. It can bring about once in a lifetime opportunities. Doors can open for you, but because it's a full moon, we can also really embrace the opportunity to make some change or let something go. A full moon in Sagittarius, Sagittarian energy is all about adventure and the future and the big picture, very philosophical energy. Ruled by Jupiter, though, it is good luck, good fortune, expansion, growth, and fun, right? Sagittarius energy is really quite positive and likes to have fun and likes to travel. So this full moon can really be where we're embracing the ability, a little bit of an extra cosmic support system here to release our baggage, right? And because Sagittarius is the traveler, um, you know, imagine going on a trip, going on a journey, and you're bogged down with like three heavy suitcases, right? And you're like, oh man, I'm going to take a train across Europe. I don't want to drag this stuff around. I got to get on a plane. I got to babysit all these bags. Ugh, what can I do to lighten my load? So think of the full moon in Sagittarius kind of like that, right? What baggage do we need to leave behind? Because Saggy energy likes freedom, right? Fun, adventure, freedom, the light of life, right? Moving forward to the future. The archer, where are you pointing your arrow? What is your target, right? And sometimes we need that ability to fly. And so there's that full moon in Saggy energy. Today on Friday, the moon is in Scorpio, okay, all day, all the way up until tomorrow. Tomorrow morning is when the moon does move into Sagittarius, preparing for Sunday's full moon. And so today, though, you might be focused on making some changes. Perhaps you've got some dealings going on with some other people. We do have this evening, it can be actually quite supportive energy for connecting with others or for doing something around your home, nurturing your family, nurturing yourself, making your home a nice, inviting space. Because we've got a lovely trine with the moon in Scorpio and Jupiter in Cancer. So some of you are looking at, kind of maybe moving where you live, or just, making your home in a more warm and inviting place, right? So, but some of you could really kind of be working with someone else. So teamwork makes the dream work here, folks. Anyway, so the rest of our day, all throughout our day is actually fairly quiet today. Probably the reprieve after a crazy energy week, is probably what the doctor ordered. So I will just say with the full moon, um, we have a very, very, very long void of course moon. And this does happen on Sunday. Okay. So the void of course is when the moon in a sign makes its last major aspect to another planet, and it's before it changes signs, right? So moon will change signs into Capricorn on Monday, but we have a 36-hour void of course. That is huge. They usually average, an hour and a half, 2 hours, maybe up to three. And so when we have this extra long one, it's a huge reminder to wrap things up, right? And that's full moon energy right there. Wrapping things up, bringing things to a close. In a void of course moon, we don't want to start anything new, right? Focus on tying up the loose ends, focus on meditation, getting grounded, connect with nature, all these kind of things. Stick with the routine and mundane tasks, okay? Because whatever we start in a void of course moon, the energy is not supported, right? It's just a moon floating around. And so the energy is not supported by anything else. So we feel a little lost. We feel that we don't have a good head on our shoulders, feet on the ground. And when we're in this kind of energy, right, we just, anything that new that we start, especially anything big, it's not likely to work out, or it's not likely to go the way that we want. And so we probably have to deal with some craziness, right? And so, and so very important there. Focus on the full moon energy. Closure, completion, clearing out your baggage, do some full moon rituals. Great time for that. Sagittarian energy is very philosophical and enlightened. So it's a great time for meditation, read a book, all that kind of stuff. Take it easy. And of course, as we go into Monday, because this void, of course, will last all the way up until late Monday evening. Okay. So, Monday, just go to work, do your normal stuff, and, go home and just, have a nice dinner and relax, right? Anyway, so there we go. But let's see what the cards have in store for you today. And we are going to start out with the Death card. So there you go. The Death card is that moon in Scorpio, right? And what is Scorpio energy? Endings, right? There's that full moon energy creeping in. Endings so that we can start something new or make room for a better way. Change, evolution, growth, transformation of all kinds. And when we do get the Death card, and I feel especially as we go through this weekend, because we've got some Uranus energy coming in as well, I feel like some of you are really right on the cusp of some sort of epiphany, some sort of awakening, right? And it may be on the spiritual plane, but it can just be, when we use the word awakening, it can be awakening to a better way. It can be awakening to the prospect of a new life. It can be awakening to the truth, right? So we can awaken in all kinds of ways. And so that Death card can really be a part of that. All right. But endings, full moon energy, clearing the path for something better, something fun, something exciting. Check your baggage at the door and you shall be free. Right. So as much as people don't love to see the Death card, it is helpful. Right. It's always helpful to help us transform something. We have the Knight of Cups. Beautiful energy. So the Knight of Cups with that Death card, yes, can be something very spiritual. For some of you, this can also be a lot of creative energy that's coming in, right? To create the life that you want, or, wrap up a creative project. Maybe you're kind of just wanting to put the final touches on something. The Knight of Cups can also be some insights, your intuition, right? And can also, of course, be friendship, compassion, kindness, camaraderie, love, romance, proposals, offers, opportunities, invitations, all these wonderful things, right? So with that Knight of Cups, some of you are wanting to go somewhere fun and do something interesting. With this energy here, this can be a weekend where you do have a personal relationship of some kind that may transform in some way. We can deepen the bonds, we can solidify a commitment, but let's face it, we can also potentially let something go. And with that Knight of Cups showing up, right, this is a good thing for you, right? Because it's like, okay, I'm feeling better now that I've kind of parted ways with this, because it's been a long time coming. And let's face it, that can be part of a full moon, and that can be part of course, the Death card there as well. But because that Knight of Cups is in the upright, even if there is an ending somewhere for you, it sets you free, and it's a positive thing. Okay. Just make sure you process your feelings, and there you go. But for the most part there, that Knight of Cups is very fun, very heartwarming. It can be, really quite interesting. And it can potentially, Death card can be new things as well. It can be where you meet someone new also. We also have the Four of Cups. All right, with this. Okay, so of course your biggest energy there is the Death card. So something's got to change, or something is changing. You might get a little surprise, I will say, because the Four of Cups is, can be an energy of contemplation. It can also be where we feel like there's something missing, or we feel like we're playing the waiting game. I'm waiting for something to happen, and I'm starting to not see it happening, right? But with this card, we do have the fourth cup coming in, and sometimes it's out of left field. Sometimes it's when we least expect it. Sometimes it's a little different than what we anticipated something looking like. So, sometimes here, especially with the Knight of Cups here right beside the Four of Cups, be aware of your expectations, okay? Because, let's say you're dating someone for a while. I'll just do love and romance as an example. Let's say you've been dating someone for a while or a very long time, and you're kind of like expecting, a proposal, like, a wedding proposal, right? Like, down on one knee and all that. But you've got this image built up in your head, this fantasy built up in your head, right? And, whatever that looks like to you, imagine like your perfect engagement, the perfect proposal. And then you get the proposal that you want, right? You get that event. But with the Four of Cups, it doesn't quite live up to expectations, right? It's like, but I wanted it at sunset on the beach, surrounded by, white doves and lilies or something, right? And you get it, but maybe it's, in the middle of a restaurant with a cliche of the engagement ring and a glass of champagne, and you're like, well, this is fine. It just doesn't quite live up to what I wanted. So manage expectations here, because you could have something really positive that can be happening for you, okay? But with the Four of Cups, it's like it just doesn't quite measure up. It's a good thing, but it doesn't quite match what I had envisioned, okay? So remember to focus on the side of positive. This is what the Sagittarian energy that's coming in does bring in for you, this positive side, all right? Sagittarius energy is probably the most positive in the whole zodiac. Okay. And so, it does bring back that the Four of Cups. It can bring back that, saying, don't look a gift horse in the mouth, right? And, so it's just a little bit of a thing, because that Four of Cups can be an energy of apathy. We can be a little bit disillusioned. We can be, kind of disengaged. Some of you here, if you've been waiting for something, it just might happen, because we do have something coming in with that Four of Cups, but you have to see it, right? You have to be open to it. Okay, so whatever that looks like to you. But again, sometimes that Four of Cups does come in as a little bit of a surprise. So expect the unexpected. And like I already said, we do have some aspects with Uranus coming in this weekend. And wild card, right? So never quite know how something is going to play out. Let's get your final message. And we've got community. All right. So community is actually card number 8. The death card rules Scorpio, which is the master of our moon, until Saturday. And, the death card with Scorpio energy is the 8th house. And the 8th house, right, card number 8, community, does involve other people. So the community card here, some of you are feeling a little bit more social. Maybe you're feeling a little more charitable. The community card is people helping people and people connecting with people. So this can be a weekend where you're really kind of assessing, who am I connected with? What, how do I contribute to my community? How does my community help me? Where do I live? And do I enjoy my neighborhood? Right? Because we do have today, we've got a trine this evening, right? With Jupiter and Cancer, and it can be all about your house and home in that Cancerian energy, right? But this can also be, kind of that desire to help other people in some way, or connect with people in a different way. So that community energy is people helping people, people connecting with people, and, maybe seeking out help, support, or maybe just that human connection. Get off your phone and go out and talk to people, and it can probably make you feel really good. Those are your messages for today here, guys. I'm going to leave that there. I thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later.